guys, you should be on page 57 in your workbook, page 57, and we are still working with decimals. Let me get you straightened up a little bit. We're still working with decimal numbers, and today we're going to start adding decimal numbers instead of just putting them in order or rounding them. Now, it says that the first thing we want to do is we're just going to find the value of each mentally. And so we're just going to take a look at these. Well, this one's just a 1. We know what that is. And then we have 0.99. Well, 0.99, that's just almost another one, isn't it? And then we have 0.02. Well, that's not even close to a whole one, is it? So we know that we have something about, and I do wavy ones because it's not totally equal to, but it's going to be about 2. Okay? Now, if we move over here and we use a rule, anytime we're adding decimal numbers, you go ahead and you stack your decimal numbers. So we would have 1, because that comes first in our list, and then we're adding. Now, here's the key part. When you're adding decimal numbers, you always line up that decimal point all the way down so that you have all of your place values in the same place. So on this one, our second number, I know I'm making y'all dizzy today. It keeps falling over on me. All right, the second number was 0.99. So we line up our decimal points, 99. Now, you can go ahead and put the 0 over here. It doesn't change the value any, but I won't take off if you don't put that because it doesn't change the value any. Okay, and then our third number, we line up the decimal place again. We have our 0 that doesn't change the value, and then we have 0.02. Now remember when we were talking about ordering decimal numbers, now this 0, I can't leave this 0 out because this changes the whole thing. If we look at it like cents, would you want 20 cents, 2 cents, or if I dropped that 0 and had that, that would be 20 cents, wouldn't it? So you can't leave out these zeros when they come within the decimal number. Only this one over here in the whole number spot because it doesn't change the value of the number. Okay, we have our 3 numbers. We know we're adding, so we draw our line. And just like in the problem, when you find the sum, which is just the answer to an addition problem, you go ahead and you line that decimal place up all the way down, even into the answer, into the sum. And then you add like always. We would start with the ones place. 0 plus 9 is 9, plus 2 is 11. So we would carry our 1. 0 plus 9 is 9, plus 0 is still 9, plus the 1 that we carried is 10. So we'd carry that 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 0 is still 1, plus the 1 that I carried is 2. Okay, so were we about right? Yeah, we were about right, weren't we? We came up, we thought about 2, and we came up with 2 and 100. Okay, on the second one, if we just look at it mentally, just quick mental math, we have 1.99. And if I'm thinking about that like money, it's like $1.99. So it's about 2. I'll let this suckle disappear. Let me go get it off the screen just a minute. Well, it doesn't want to come off the screen. Okay, don't know why this circle won't disappear. Circle doesn't mean anything. Alright, and then if we're just looking at this one again, it's just 0.02, so that's not even close to a whole one. So I've still got approximately 2, about 2, not totally equal, so I did the wiggles. Okay, now if we use our rule for adding decimals, we know that we're going to stack them on top of each other, just like regular addition, and we line up that decimal point. So I would have 0.002, and then we're going to add. again, it works just like standard addition. We have 9 plus 2 is 11. Carry our 1. 9 plus 0 is 9. Plus the 1 we carried is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. Plus the 1 that we carried is 2. And then we bring that decimal right on down, straight down. And again, we were just about right, weren't we? 2.01, 2 and 100 compared to 2. Okay, now this next one, all that happens is now, instead of having 0.02, I have 0.03. So what do you think is going to happen? Okay, so now I just have a 12 instead. So I would carry my 1 and I have 202. Now let's think about the next one. The next one, it gives you, it doesn't just go up by 1, it goes up by 10. So it makes sense that if I'm increasing by 10 over there, would I be increasing by 10 over here? Okay, let's just think about that. If we did, then our answer should be 2.12, okay? Because we said we were increasing by tens, because that's in the tenths place. Well, let's put in the problem and check it. Okay, they gave us 0.13, and if we use standard addition, just like it didn't have any decimals in it, we would have 9 plus 3 is 12. Carry the 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus the 1 that we carried is 11. And 1 plus 1 would be 2. So yeah, we were right. If you increase it by tenths, then your tenths place goes up by 1. Okay, on the next page. On page 58, it says estimate and solve. Circle the number that the sum is closest to and explain your reasoning. Okay, well, if I look at these, it says we're going to estimate to solve. So if I have 2.82, I know that's just almost 3, isn't it? Okay, and then I have 5.2. Well, 0.2, that's not just really, really close to being up to the next number. So I would guess about a 5. So I'm going to circle this one. Okay, and I've explained my reasoning. This one, 282, if I had $2.82, I just almost had $3, don't I? But if I only had $5.20, I'm not real close to having $6, am I? So let's check it out. Let's actually do the math on it. So we would have 2.82 plus 5.2. And remember, you always line up that decimal point. So 5.2. And then I add. 2 plus nothing is 2. 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 plus 5 is 7. Plus the 1 that I carried is 8. And we drop that decimal point down. And I have 8.02. Well, I was right, wasn't I? It was closest to 8. Okay, on the next one. We're still estimating and finding sums. Okay, well actually this one says find the value. Well, we have 282 and we line up 5.2 just like we just did. 0, 10, 8. Always remember to line up those decimals. Okay, on the next one. We're going to estimate and circle what we think it's the closest to. Well, we had 5.8, and again, if I think of that as money, $5.80, that's just almost $6, isn't it? Okay, and then this one, 2.97. If I think of it like money, it's $2.97. So I just almost have $3. So 6 plus 3, the closest that I think it would be to is this one. Okay, and then it says, actually, what is the value of it? Well, let's do the math. 5.8, and we're adding. Anytime we add decimals, remember we line that decimal number up. 2 decimal 9, 7, and then we add together. Well, nothing plus 7 is 7. 8 plus 9 is 17. Carry your 1. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus the 1 that we carried is 8, and we line up that decimal point. Now, if we had $8.77, that would be closer to $9 than it would $8, wouldn't it? Okay, so we were right in our reasoning. If we were to round this to the whole dollar, remember this is the whole, so if we were rounding to the whole, we would look at him, that's our whole number, then look behind him, see if that's 5 or bigger, see if he's going to kick him on it up to the next number, and yeah, he would. So closest we would get would be 9. Okay, on the next page. Introduce the algorithm. Well, we've already been using the algorithm. Remember when we were multiplying and dividing? Algorithm is just a fancy word for the steps. Introduce the steps. Well, we've already been doing the steps. We know that we have to line that decimal place up before we add. We have to keep the place values in place. And if you want to, you can just go ahead and drop that decimal place down because we know where it's going to go, don't we? It has to stay in line so that we keep our place values separate. 1 plus 3 is 4. 6 plus 5 is 11. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus the 1 that we carried is 8. So we have 8.14. And we just used an algorithm. Now this one, it says, Han used the standard algorithm to add decimals, and this is Han's work. Describe what Han did in each step. Well, in the first step, he added together what was in the hundreds place, didn't he? So we have 1 plus 3 is 4. In the next step, Han has a 1. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? If we add what's in the tenths place, 6 plus 5 is 11, we know that we put the 1 and then carry our 1 from our 11. And then in the last step, he's added together his whole numbers. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus the 1 that he carried is 8. Okay, now it says use the standard algorithm to find the value of 6.62 plus 3.74. So we know that we have to line up our decimal places. So I can just go ahead and put that there. 3.74. We only had 2 numbers, and I can just go ahead and drop this down because I know that's where it's going to go. We're keeping our place values. So first we're going to add our hundredths place, tenths, hundredths. So 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 7 is 13, so we would carry our 1. 6 plus 3 is 9, plus the 1 that we carried is 10. Now, if you want to see if your number is just reasonable, does it make sense? Well, let's just kind of go up here and estimate. If I have $6.62, I have almost $7, don't I? If I have $3.74, I have just almost $4, and that would give me 11. So since this wasn't quite 7 and this wasn't quite 4, that my answer makes sense, doesn't it? Because I got 11 when I estimated, and this is not quite 11, but it gives me enough to know that it's a reasonable answer. My answer makes sense. Okay, so short lesson today. Your warm-up is attached on your Google Classroom. And just remember, algorithm's just a fancy word for steps. And if you're adding decimals, you just line up the decimal point all the way down, keep your place values in order, and add like always. Bye.